There is something almost too perfect about the symbolism. The President of the United States, standing before his assembled courtiers at a White House Christmas reception, launches into an extended disquisition on snakes, vipers to be precise, venomous creatures that strike without warning and leave their victims convulsing on the ground. One could hardly devise a more apt metaphor for the man himself, though I suspect the irony was lost on him entirely. The occasion was meant to be festive, a celebration of the season, an acknowledgement of the holiday that even the most secular among us treats as an opportunity for generosity and goodwill. What the assembled guests received instead was a 40-minute journey through the deteriorating architecture of Donald Trump's mind, a rambling, sweat-drenched performance that touched upon Peruvian wildlife, his daughter's physical attributes, and the grand conspiracy that he insists, against all evidence, against all court rulings, against the testimony of his own appointees, robbed him of victory in 2020 and continues to operate against him in California to this day. Let us begin with the snakes, since Trump himself found the subject so compelling. The president informed his audience that Peru is known to be a rather rough place in terms of physical creatures crawling around, and that 28,000 people die a year from a snake bite, a certain snake. It's a viper. It's said to be the most poisonous snake in the world. This is, of course, nonsense. The most venomous snake in the world is the inland taipan, native to Australia, not Peru. Actual snakebite fatalities in Peru number fewer than 1 per year on average, not 28,000. But factual accuracy has never been the point of a Trump monologue. The point is the performance itself, the meandering assertion of authority over reality, the insistence that whatever emerges from his mouth must be treated as truth simply because he has uttered it. The snake story, such as it was, concerned the White House physician Dr. James Jones, who was apparently bitten by a viper while hiking in Peru with the daughters of former President Barack Obama. Trump recounted the tale for approximately 9 minutes. 9 minutes on snake bites at a Christmas reception. At one point, even he seemed to notice that his audience had glazed over. "Look how quiet everybody is," he observed, with what might have been self-awareness in a more reflective individual. The silence was not, one suspects, the rapt attention of the fascinated. It was the uncomfortable hush of people watching a man unravel in real time and wondering whether it would be impolite to check their phones. But it was not the herpetological digression that most disturbed observers. Midway through his remarks, Trump paused, grinned at a woman in the crowd and announced, "Boy, you look like Ivanka. Has anyone ever told you that?" I'm looking and saying, "Is that Ivanka?" He then asked the woman to turn around for the camera so the audience could assess the resemblance themselves. "Doesn't she look like Ivanka? It's the most unbelievable thing," he declared. "You look just like Ivanka, which is a great compliment, actually. A great compliment." Let us pause to consider the history behind this observation. In 2004, Trump agreed on Howard Stern's show when the host referred to his daughter as a piece of ass. In 2006, on The View, he mused, "If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her." In a 2015 Rolling Stone interview, he returned to this theme. "Yeah, she's really something, and what a beauty, that one. If I weren't happily married and, her father." The ellipsis was his, not mine. At a 1997 Miss Teen USA pageant, when Ivanka was 16, he asked the reigning Miss Universe, "Don't you think my daughter's hot? She's hot, right?" And when Wendy Williams asked in 2013 what hobbies he shared with his daughter, Trump responded, "I was going to say sex, but I can relate to golf and real estate." This is not a man who occasionally makes awkward comments about his daughter's appearance. This is a man with a documented decades-long pattern of sexualizing his own child in public, a pattern so consistent and so disturbing that any other public figure would have been rendered unemployable long ago. Yet here he stands, in the White House, asking strange women to pirouette for his inspection because they remind him of his daughter, and the assembled Republicans applaud as though this were normal, as though this were fine, as though the leader of the free world publicly thirsting over Ivanka lookalikes at a Christmas party was simply one of those things that happens. The silence of the Republican Party on this matter is instructive. Consider for a moment how this same performance would have been received had it come from Joe Biden. The right-wing media ecosystem spent years constructing an elaborate narrative around Biden's alleged cognitive decline, passing every verbal stumble, every momentary confusion, every instance of the ordinary imprecision that afflicts all humans, but especially those of advanced age. Had Biden delivered a 40-minute speech in which he rambled about snakes for 9 minutes, asked a woman to turn around because she looked like his daughter, and then claimed, falsely, that he had actually won states he demonstrably lost, Fox News would have convened medical panels. Republican legislators would have invoked the 25th Amendment before the evening news. The footage would have played on loop for weeks as evidence of a president unfit for office. But it was not Biden, it was Trump. And so the silence descends, the same silence that greeted him in that room as he droned on about vipers, the silence of a party that has made its bargain and must now live with the consequences. But the personal grotesqueries, disturbing as they are, pale beside the political ones. The election lies, of course, were present as well. They are always present. They have become as much a part of Trump's rhetorical furniture as the superlatives and the grievances. If the vote in California was legitimate, which it's not, Trump told his Christmas audience, it's a rigged election in California because we would win California by a lot. He claimed to possess truckloads of evidence that Democrats rigged the 2020 election, evidence that, despite 5 years of promises, has never materialized, never been produced in court, never been verified by any of the dozens of Republican officials and judges who examined the claims and found them baseless. This is not merely dishonest, it is dangerous. The lie that the 2020 election was stolen inspired a violent assault on the United States Capitol that left people dead and the building desecrated. It has motivated ongoing harassment and death threats against election workers across the country. It has corroded public faith in democratic institutions to a degree that may take generations to repair. And Trump continues to repeat it at Christmas receptions, at rallies, at press conferences, because it serves his psychological need to be seen as a winner and his political need to keep his base in a state of perpetual grievance. The claim that he would have won California is particularly instructive. Trump lost California to Kamala Harris by more than 3 million votes. There is no evidence of fraud, no indication of irregularity, nothing beyond Trump's assertion that mail-in voting is inherently corrupt because it produces outcomes he dislikes. When pressed for evidence, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt responded, "It is just a fact." This is the epistemology of authoritarianism. The leader's word is truth, and truth requires no evidence beyond the leader's word. The speech also touched upon recent violence, the anti-Semitic massacre at Bondi Beach, the killing of American soldiers in Syria. But these acknowledgements were perfunctory, mere throat-clearing before the main performance. Trump does not do solemnity well. He does not do empathy at all. What he does is Trump, the rambling, the self-aggrandizement, the casual cruelty, the sexual weirdness, the lies repeated so often they have become a kind of liturgy for his followers. There was a time, it seems distant now, when American conservatives prided themselves on their defense of decency, their commitment to family values, their insistence that character matters in a president. They impeached Bill Clinton for lying about an extramarital affair. They thundered about the moral decay of the coastal elites. They warned that the coarsening of public discourse would have consequences for the republic. And now they gather at Christmas receptions and applaud politely while a 79-year-old man sweats through his suit, babbles about snakes, leers at women who remind him of his daughter, and insists that elections he lost were actually stolen. This is what they have chosen, this is what they have made of their movement. The serpent, it turns out, was in the garden all along. They invited him in, and now they must pretend not to notice the venom. Merry Christmas.